The movie opens in a coal mine with workers working relentlessly digging up coal. But out of the blue, an explosion happens and things soon look chaotic. A few of the workers are injured, but one of them, named Ted Bolton, dies. We are also introduced to Oliver Mellors, who helps in recovering the body into the truck, and we understand that he is also a worker in that mine. Soon we see Ted's wife, Ivy, grieving over her husband's body, and the workers and their families also gather to mourn. The scene cuts to a party happening in London, and we are introduced to Constance Reed and her sister Hilda. We are also introduced to Duncan Forbes, who seems to have a crush on Constance. But as fate would have it, Clifford's eyes fall on the glamorous Constance. One thing leads to the other, and Constance and Clifford start dancing, and we can feel their attraction towards each other. This makes Duncan jealous, but Constance cares little about him and soon marries Clifford. They do consummate their marriage, and just as things seem to be going smoothly, Clifford is called to fight in the World War fought between the Allied powers and the Central Powers. He joined the war as a first lieutenant and led his forces with bravery. But unfortunately, a German fighter jet dropped an explosive which injured him badly, and just before losing consciousness, he sees Oliver standing in front of him. Post that, Clifford returns home and Lady Constance Chatterley welcomes him with a warm smile. But as soon as he is brought down from the truck, she is taken aback upon seeing that he has lost sensitivity in his lower body and needs to use a wheelchair to move from one place to another. Trying to be a good wife, she assures him that they will get the best doctor in the land. But as it seems, Clifford has already lost hope in himself. As soon as Constance leaves him alone, he pulls out his gun and tries to do the unthinkable. But luckily, she manages to stop him in the nick of time, leading him to break down in her arms. On the other hand, while on the battlefield, Oliver writes a letter to his beloved Bertha, describing how much he loves her and how excited he is to be able to meet her soon. Right at this moment, the explosions stop and we understand that the war is over. Soon, Oliver returns home and visits his lover in the hopes of rekindling their relationship, but to his dismay, finds her pregnant and alongside another man. Seeing this, a disheartened Oliver leaves the venue with tears in his eyes, without speaking a single word. Being jobless, and in order to earn his bread and butter, he visits the Chatterley estate, and there his eyes fall on Constance, and he gets instantly attracted to her. He applies for the post of gamekeeper for the estate, and upon learning that Oliver used to serve under his regiment, Clifford agrees to give him the job. To entertain himself, Clifford buys a motorized wheelchair. He visits Oliver's cottage in the woods, and Constance accompanies him while riding a horse. Oliver and Constance get introduced, and she is instantly charmed by Oliver's shooting skills and by his personality. That day, we see Ivy, who also works for the Chatterleys, giving a bath to Clifford, and as expected, this development does not sit well with Constance. She doubts Clifford and accuses him of cheating behind his back, but he denies the accusation and at the same time expresses sorrow for losing his potency so soon after their marriage. Here, we can see the growing emotional distance between Lady Chatterley and her husband, and we understand that he still blames himself for lack of physical intimacy between them. That day, while Clifford was away due to work, Constance visits Oliver's cottage intending to hand him his cottage key, but a bad-tempered Oliver lashes out at her, thinking that she is here to deny him the key to his cottage. She soon clears his misunderstandings, and upon understanding that the lady of the estate has taken the trouble to hand him the key herself, he apologizes for his behavior. Not saying another word, she leaves the place and Oliver watches her go away with a sense of regret in his face. Later that day, he sends a letter of apology to her, asking Constance for her forgiveness. This takes her aback, as if she had expected something more. As expected, she visits his cottage again and upon seeing him working on his furniture, stares with admiration at his well-built body, which makes it clear to us that she is attracted to him. She approaches him and asks him why he wrote so little in the letter. In response, he again apologizes for his behavior. She expresses her desire to visit there more often, giving the excuse to complete her paintings, but he coldly responds, stating that he would need some time to move the furniture out of there. Not satisfied by his lack of common sense, she starts to leave. But right then, it starts raining and they have no choice but to take shelter in that cottage. He lights up the fireplace and they warm themselves near it. At a point of time, they come close to each other, but Oliver soon creates some distance between them, and when asked about it, He expresses his fear of being discovered like this, as this may threaten his life and his job. Hearing this, Constance departs and returns to her house in the Rugby Hall. At night, she tries to initiate intimacy, but Clifford soon cuts her off, citing the fact that he is too tired due to work. Being an understanding wife, she stops and the couple go to sleep after confessing their love for each other. Next day, Clifford brings a doctor who is well known for curing tough diseases. The procedure brings immense pain to his body, and Constance finds it hard to bear the sound of his screams. She stands outside the house in the garden, reminiscing about Oliver, but Clifford's screams prove to be unbearable, and hence, she soon rushes inside the room and stops his treatment. Next morning, she visits the woods and, to her surprise, finds out that Oliver is creating a barricade for little chicks. Being fond of animals, she takes a hatchling in her palm, and this is when Oliver tells her that the little bird thinks of her as its mother. This sentence reminds her of the fact that she cannot bear a child due to Clifford's condition and eventually breaks down in tears. Seeing her in that state, Oliver tries to comfort her, and it is at this point of time that they lose control on themselves. They return to his cottage and passion ignites. Oliver lights the fireplace and makes a makeshift bed for them on the floor. It seems to us that the couple now care less about the rest of the world and want to lose themselves in each other. They end up making love, and after a long time, Constance seems to be genuinely happy. But soon, the couple returns to their daily life, and we can clearly see the sense of longing in both their eyes, as if they are unable to stay apart from each other. One such afternoon, Ivy meets with Constance while she is painting, and the women talk about their lives. Ivy tells Constance about her husband's death, and we see that she still mourns for him. She adds that even though years have passed, she still feels his touch on herself as if it will remain with her forever. Hearing this reminds Constance about Oliver, and it also makes her realize that although it has been a few days that they last saw each other, she can also feel his presence near her. The scene shifts to Oliver, who had fallen asleep while drinking, but is woken up by a lightning strike. He opens his door and looks at the Rugby Hall, letting us know how much he misses Constance. She also wakes up from her sleep, and as soon as her eyes catch sight of his cottage, she is unable to suppress her emotions and runs to him in the pouring rain. We also see Ivy noticing this, but she does not react immediately. Oliver embraces her, and they make love under the night sky while being drenched in rain. Next morning, Oliver notices that Constance looks more happier than usual. Post-initiating small talk, she expresses her wish to visit her sister Hilda, and Clifford agrees without delay. While talking about their private life, Hilda guesses that Constance has a new lover, and with shyness in her face, she accepts the claim. Upon being asked, she reveals that he is none other than the gamekeeper, Oliver Mellors. This comes as a shock to Hilda, and understanding that she is against this relationship, Constance laughs it off as a joke, while trying to hide her worried face. Next day, Clifford arranges for a party and mingles with the guests while talking about his energy company. Duncan also arrives at the venue and soon invites Constance to a dance. She agrees, and seeing this, Clifford exits the venue. Next morning at tea, we learn that Clifford is the one who had invited Duncan. When inquired about it, he reveals that it is necessary for the family to have an heir. It soon dawns on her that her husband is asking her to be intimate with Duncan so as to obtain a child. She scoffs at him for giving her away to another man, but he retorts that God has made him helpless and it is their only option. Constance and Oliver continue their affair, and we see that she also gets emotional support from him. She accompanies him to a nearby fair, and while they were enjoying, a young boy teases Constance, and in return, Oliver soon drops a hammer at his feet in the pretext of playing a game. It impresses her more, and they share a tender kiss after sneaking away from the crowd. Soon, she discovers that she is pregnant, and without delay reveals this to her husband. Clifford is happy to welcome the heir of his family, but when asked about the father, she keeps the identity a secret. That day, he visits Oliver to check the progress of his work, but soon, his motorized wheelchair gets stuck in the mud. Oliver tries to help him and pushes it to restart the engine, but the machine still fails to start. Constance tries to help, but Clifford forbids her, citing her pregnancy as the reason. This news stuns Oliver, and he is left speechless. Being ashamed of his helplessness, he orders Oliver to push it harder. Oliver abides, and the smoke exhaust makes him cough uncontrollably, but still, he goes on. Finally, The machine starts, and Clifford bids farewell to him. Feeling guilty, Constance returns to her lover, and this is when Oliver lashes out at her, assuming that she has used him for getting a baby. He scoffs at her, saying that he feels betrayed, and asks her to return to her husband. In reply, she affirms her love for him, and lets him know that she loves him for who he is. Oliver lets her know that they cannot be together as he is only a gamekeeper and she is the lady of the estate. Back at the Rugby Hall, she locks herself inside her room, and Clifford breaks inside the room worrying for the child. He expresses his desire to let the world know about their heir, and Ivy overhears their conversation. An inquisitive Ivy visits Oliver's cottage and upon entering it, discovers Constance's diary lying inside. This proves her suspicion and she keeps the diary with herself as proof of her mistress's infidelity. While Clifford hosts a party to celebrate his fatherhood, he gets a note from Ivy, requesting him to meet privately for an urgent matter. Ivy discloses her findings and reveals to him that the father of the child is Oliver Mellors. She threatens to expose this affair to everyone, and when Clifford refuses to believe her, she expresses her hardships after her husband died while working in Clifford's coal mine. We learn that she only received £300 as compensation, which was not enough for her to sustain herself. She leaves the room, but not before stating that Clifford has got what he deserved. Seeing her husband lost in deep thought, Constance tries to talk to him, only to be confronted by his rage. This makes Constance understand that Clifford has found out about her affair. Next day, while Ivy was being casted out of the estate, Constance has a private conversation with her. She asks Ivy how she learned about her affair, to which Ivy replies that it was as clear as day, and she, too, shames her for using Oliver for bearing a child. Hearing this, Constance breaks down in tears and confesses her love for Oliver. This makes Ivy understand the grave mistake that she has committed and, out of regret, advises her mistress to run to Oliver's aid, as he will soon be targeted by Clifford's men. Constance runs to her lover and demands to run away with him. But being a sensible man, Oliver lets her know that with him, she will not have access to all the luxuries she is accustomed to. A disheartened Constance starts leaving, and seeing this, changes Oliver's mind, and he agrees to stay with her somewhere far away from this place. Back at the Rugby Hall, she demands divorce from Clifford, and hearing this, he demands to meet Oliver. Confronted with his wife's lover, he badmouths Oliver's child and ousts him of his land. But while the duo was departing, Clifford has a change of heart and agrees to give her the divorce so that she can marry Oliver. In the closing moments of the movie, we see the duo exiting the estate sharing a loving smile at each other. Thank you for watching. If you like this recap, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And please don't forget to check out the other videos on the channel.